2. Question number 2 is IPv6 addresses, starting with what, can be routed internally, but not externally? All right. Well, FE80 is a link local addresses. They can't be routed anywhere. And so FC00 is the only unique local address that we could use. And 3 and 2, if the IP addresses start with that, those are routable on the internet. I also want to congratulate the 999J Strict for getting his exam taken care of on the 11th. Congratulations, way to go. And here is question number 3. It is double points. What is the correct syntax to back up the OSPF version 3 route shown in this output? The OSPF route, to be specific. All right, fantastic. Now, for all of these questions that we're having today, I've got videos on my YouTube channel that cover each and every one of these topics and more. So if you went to my channel and just did a search on my channel for IPv6, you just have hours of content and you can pick the ones that are most interest to you. Also, oftentimes, right after a live stream quiz, we'll jump in the Discord server, and we'll do that today also. So after the quiz today, we'll jump on the Discord server. There's a link in the video description. And if you have any questions about why an answer was the way it was or why an answer wasn't correct, you can just ask. So the Discord, we have open mics. You can just talk with me directly. We can talk with each other. And that's the way we'll handle our follow-up on these questions today. All right, let's take a look and see how we're doing. So far, we have Brave Panther with 3,546 points. No wonder he's so brave. He or she, or they. Followed by Eager Pony, Yellow Dog, Balanced Pony. Wow, 2 ponies in the top 5, and Rapid Dragon. Way to go. If you are here and participating, that's fantastic. I always learn something new when I'm preparing these quizzes and when we're doing our office hour. Regarding the fundamentals, I always learn something new. I'm a double CCIE. So I'm super happy that you're here, rehearsing and reinforcing those skills. And here is question number 4. What caused Gig 0/1 to join the multicast group of FF02::5? All right. Well, OSPF version 3 is enabled, and when an interface is enabled for OSPF version 3 with IPv6, it's going to automatically join the multicast group of FF02::5 because that's where all the OSPF speaking interfaces are residing. And if it was a DR or a BDR, it would also join FF02::6. All right, here we go. Question number 5, multiple select. Which of the following are multicast addresses? The faster you answer correctly, the more points you get. All right. Well done. Well done. And Stephen K is saying, I'm closing in on 1 year anniversary of my CCNA. Still showing up here because I love you guys. Well, that's awesome. We love you too. And I consistently continue to learn and reinforce skills. So this might not be a bad habit for anybody in the Cisco space regarding the technologies of, basic fundamentals of networking. Every Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. is this quiz. A quiz like this one, and every Saturday Pacific time at 10 a.m. is the open office hour regarding CCNA technologies, and it's just a lot of fun. Join us for both of those, and here we go. Question 6 of 15. Double points, no pressure. Which first 8 bits could be used for a globally routable IPv6 address? All right. So at some point, if you aren't yet familiar with the binary to decimal or hex conversions, that's going to be a valuable skill. Not something we have to do every day, but if you take those first 4 bits there, these 0001, the first position there is the 1, then there's the 2 and the 4 and the 8. So that first 4 bits represent a 3, and the last 4 bits there represent a 1 in hexadecimal or decimal for that matter. And so that's a globally routable address. It starts with 2000 all the way through 3FFF. That's a globally routable address, and that's how that would be recognized. Great job. Great job. Top of the heap, Eager Pony, 7,752. If you are brand new to this quiz, the faster you answer the questions correctly, the more points you get. And so that's part of the angle as well. So most of these questions are appropriately timed. Here is the next question. Question 7 of 15, double points. What will be the EUI64 host address for interface gig 0/2? I've given you a full 2 minutes here. Take your time, and good luck. All right. Before we talk about this for a moment, I want to give a personal shout out and thank you to Antonia Warren for the super chat, who did her CCNA back in September and passed it. And that these quizzes and the Discord are really useful. My pleasure. I'm super happy that everybody's here, and congratulations on your success. Onward and upward. So, what will be the EUI64 address? I gave you 2 minutes for this one. And there are a few videos in my library up on YouTube that walk through the EUI64 process, how it's done, flipping the 7th bit, and among other things. And so that's just going to be a matter of studying it for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and you'll have it mastered, and then you can apply that wherever it shows up. But none of these answers I gave here were correct. So those of you who said green, good job. And question 8 of 15. Which IPv6 method is used to learn the MAC address, the layer 2 address, of another local device on the same local subnet? All right, beautiful. Neighbor discovery protocol. Yesterday in the office hour, somebody asked, well, what do they use instead of ARP? And so we had a nice chat about neighbor discovery protocol, and that every device, when it has an IPv6 address, it also joins a corresponding multicast group based on that address. And so if somebody wants to do neighbor discovery looking for the layer 2 address, they'll send out a neighbor discovery message based on the multicast group they assume that device would have joined. And then that device responds along with anybody else who's in that group. And then that's how address resolution is done in IPv6. Great work, everybody. Here we go. Question number 9 of 15. Multiple select. Which 2 commands auto-generate an IPv6 address with information from the MAC address? All right, let's take a look here. So this one right here in red, IPv6 address, blah, 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 /64, behind the scenes, that will automatically generate a link local address, and the link local address is what gets the actual, auto-generated IPv6 address. That's why red is correct. And then green is going to have actually 2 dynamically created addresses, the host portion for the IPv6 globally routable address, and also behind the scenes, the address used as part of the link local address as well. So red and green, perfect. And, who's in the top here? Balanced Pony, way to balance, Rapid Dragon, Eager Pony, Dr. Finch, and Golden Dog. We have 6 questions left, I believe. And here is question number 10. It's a puzzle. You're going to drag these in order. What is the correct syntax for an IPv6 static default route? All right. Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's see. 777 Savage is stating, I'm taking my exam tomorrow. Any advice? Well, hopefully we've had a lot of prep behind this, and also some hands-on practice with things like Packet Tracer or Live Gear. Either way is great. And as far as what I would do in my last 24 hours, I would probably take a look at my playlist that has a recording of like 40 or 50 of these Sunday quizzes and just focus. I would just spot check, like take areas you think you might be good at or good enough in, look at those, pause at the question and see whether or not you can honestly answer those questions. And if you can't, I would maybe brush up on some of those areas. If you can go through those and just like, yep, and answer them correctly before you look at the answers, that would be a really good verification that you've got the readiness. So the syntax for a static route for IPv6 is IPv6 route, the syntax for a default route, and then the next top address at the very end. And that's why that one is correct. And here we go. Question 11. Onward and upward. Which command will hard code an IPv6 link local layer 3 address for gig 00? All right, that indeed is the syntax. And oftentimes, even as a person who's worked with Cisco Care for a couple of decades, context-sensitive help is useful and very valid at the command line. But sometimes you may just want to, know what the syntax is. And so hands-on practice is the best way to help reinforce those commands. For me today, still is. IPv6 address, the link local address, and then the keyword link-local following it. And that's the syntax for setting up manually a link local address if you choose to do that. If you don't choose to do it, it'll do it for you automatically, leveraging the same technique as EUI64 for the host portion. All right, we're almost done. Here's question 12. Which multicast group has gig 00 joined? Indeed, FF02::1, that is the multicast group that every IPv6 enabled interface, whether it's a printer, a mobile device, a server, a router, anything that has an IPv6 address is going to join that multicast group. Effectively, that could be almost like used as a broadcast mechanism. If you need to reach everybody who's running IPv6, you could send a packet to that address, FF02::1, and its corresponding layer 2 address behind the scenes. And everybody who's speaking IPv6 should be able to pick up on that. And that is what that is. All right, here we go. Almost done. Question 13. It is multiple select, maybe. It's also double points. Which command or commands would create a floating static route for the network 2001 DB82/64? Oh, great work. And many of these questions are similar. So with a floating static route, the first thing that I would look for is I would say, okay, great. What is the current route, which is this 2001 DB82 network, that route with a administrative distance of 110. So the thing about administrative distance, it's the same concept whether you're talking about IPv4 or IPv6. It's like golf. The better or lower the AD is, the better chance that route has of making it into the routing table. And then once, of course, the route's in the routing table, it's sent up to the longest match. So if the current AD is 110, a floating static route would have to have a AD higher than 110. So that rules out yellow. And then you just go on to look at the syntax for the correct static route that would be floating, which in this case is that one here with the red. All right, let's see how many more we have. We have 2 more questions. Balanced Pony is at the top of the heap. Rapid Dragon, whoo, answer streak of 3 in a row. Way to go, you fiery beast. Or Beastus and Speedy Giraffe, Bold Penguin, and Cute Sphinx. It's anybody's game, almost anybody's game. The key is just hang in there and keep plugging away and keep learning. Which multicast groups has Gig00 joined? Oh, this is a slightly different question. Take a look. Nicely done. Nicely done. I had somebody that chatted with me, gave me some feedback a few weeks ago, and they said, Keith, if I had not gone to your weekly quizzes, I probably would have got about 10% of my exam he took wrong. And that's just because I'm trying to be a little bit challenging. I want people to really get a feel for the level that they need to know the topics at. And what he said was he would go to a quiz, have some struggles with parts of our whole quiz, and then realize he needed to go in and lab it up and study a little bit more. And I still remember when I did not know a lot of the protocols. Like I've had my CCIE for now 20, I've been a double CCIE for almost 2 decades, but I still remember back in the day when I was just learning, and there's no magic to it. It's just simply exposure, practicing hands-on, and getting better and better. And just kind of gradually over time, rehearsing the skills and continuing to learn, ask questions, and just get better. There's no baby that's ever born where the doctor said, oh, this person's going to be a network engineer. Or at least they weren't going to say that about me, because I came from very, weird background. And so anyway, long story short, anybody can learn. And the key is just to keep on going until you get there. And then also a little side note here. Let me bring this up. Little side note. When I got my first CCIE back in 2001, January of 2001, which again was over 20 years ago, I realized just at that moment, I don't know anything. I just demonstrated in a 2-day lab at Cisco Systems in San Jose that I could do some basic stuff, and they gave me the CCIE because of it. But I also realized, whoa, there's just so much more, and that's always going to be the case. So the key is learn the fundamentals. They'll serve you forever. And as things change and new technologies come up, they're mostly overlays. We're overlaying new technologies on existing infrastructure. So is ARP going to go away? Not as long as there's IPv4. And is neighbor discovery protocol going to go away? Not as long as there's IPv6. So as you learn those, they're going to serve you for decades. And then as you have additional technologies and topologies on top of that, that's going to help as well. All right, let me go ahead back to my main screen here. And I think we have one final question. And here it is. Multiple select. Which commands on their own can automatically generate an IPv6 address? All right, IPv6 enable, it's going to generate a link local address with that one at least. And then if we stick on an IPv6 address, That's also going to auto-generate a link local address behind the scenes as well. All right, so as a quick reminder, right after this live quiz, I'll be in the Discord server in the CCNA voice room for about, 5, 10, 30, 45 minutes, as long as it takes. If you are studying or have questions about some of these technologies, if you haven't studied it, that's the thing to do would be, if you haven't yet studied IPv6, take some time, watch some videos, read some books, lab it up, get a little bit of hands-on practice. But if you have questions about some of these quiz questions we had today, or like why are they correct, or why is that one not correct, join me. We'll just have an open discussion in the Discord server, and I'd be happy to elaborate on any of these questions we had here today. And having said that, let's take a look at the final. Oh, that was the final question. Da, 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 da. And let's take a look at the final winners in this competition today. All right. Way to go. I'm so glad everybody's here. And let's take a look at the toughest questions. There was 5 out of the... So this is valuable for me as a trainer because I can look at these and say, okay, here's where I would want to help people focus. So these are our 5 toughest questions. Again, if you want to elaborate or ask about these specifically, we'll do that in the Discord server here in just a moment. And let me also get some feedback from you as well. So on your input device, if you join the game live, you can put the feedback there. It's been great having you for this quiz, and I'll send you out with some music here in a moment. Again, if you want to jump into Discord, you can. I'll be there for a few minutes as well. Every Saturday, if you want to just schedule it, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time is the office hour. I'm here, and we just have a great discussion. And 2 weeks ago, I learned more about wireless. I had some pieces that I learned about, including Flex Connect, which I'd never really deployed. And it was great. It was great. We labbed some stuff up. And then yesterday we did IPv6 in a lab environment. We had, questions about static routes and neighbor discovery protocol and other things. It was fantastic. Great open discussion. And next week, the topic is going to be DHCP. And I asked the group yesterday, hey, what do you want next week? It's going to be DHCP. So that's going to include things like DHCP relay, setting up DHCP server, troubleshooting DHCP, the basic foundation of how that works. And then we'll follow it up on next Sunday with a quiz, same bat time, same bat channel. So 10 o'clock on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Pacific for office hour on Discord, 11 a.m. on Sundays for the quiz. And we're here on like clockwork. We've been doing this for close to 2 years now. It's great having everybody. And let me go ahead and put that screen back on. And let me send you out with my appreciation. And I'll see you in the office hour, or actually in the Discord server if you want to join me there. Thanks, everybody, and bye for now.
What you're putting in.